The suitcase's zipper whispered closed, a sound that echoed the gradual, creeping decay of our union. Amber, my wife of a decade, adjusted her sharp blazer, a glimmer of an unidentifiable emotion dancing in her eyes. Jitters, I mused. She was heading off to Chicago for a work trip, a 3-day conference that, if I were to be truthful, seemed more like a 3-day getaway. Recently, Amber had been aloof. Laboring into the night, hushed conversations drifted from the adjacent room. A fresh fragrance lingered in the atmosphere like a specter of a past existence. Subtle indicators lingered, small fissures in the very base of our dwelling. Yet I had chosen to ignore them. I adored Amber, cherished her with an intensity that teetered on the edge of desperation. I had managed to persuade myself that it was merely stress, fatigue, anything but the undeniable reality that was right before me. That evening, while I gently settled our daughter, Lily, into her bed, an unsettling wave of nausea washed over me. A nagging sense of unease lingered, as if something was deeply amiss. I walked back into the bedroom, only to discover that Amber was no longer there. The suitcase rested on the bed, an unspoken reminder of unresolved matters. An undeniable intuition, a deep-seated urge I couldn't resist, compelled me to unveil it. Amidst the meticulously arranged garments, her iPad lay quietly tucked away. I paused, a battle unfolding within me. This experience struck me as a breach, an infringement upon what little trust remained, teetering on the edge of collapse. Yet the persistent doubt loomed larger. I switched it on, my hands quivering with anticipation. The monitor glowed, revealing an email that awaited attention. Came from Wyatt, one of her colleagues. My heart sank as I read the words, "Can't wait for Chicago, baby. 3 days solely in your company." The air grew heavy in my lungs. The chamber whirled. I fell back, the iPad crashing to the ground. Chicago was not a business trip. It was a meeting of minds. My Amber, the woman with whom I had crafted a life, the mother of my child, was entangled in an affair. A chilling rage, unlike anything I had ever felt, seized me. A peculiar sense of detachment enveloped me, as though I were observing my own existence from a vantage point beyond my physical form. I took the iPad in hand and carefully navigated through their messages, a nauseating account of their treachery. Moments shared, fleeting conversations, dreams woven together, a vision of tomorrow that left me out of the picture. My retribution would be calculated, not a fleeting moment of rage. It would be methodical, exact, and completely destructive. I meticulously printed out each message, every photo, and every incriminating piece of evidence. I carefully arranged the stack within her suitcase, nestled between her silk scarf and her cherished dress. Beside the damning evidence, I set down a small, framed photo of Lily, her innocent eyes gazing up at me, a quiet reproach. The next morning, I assumed the role of the devoted husband. I brewed a cup of coffee, prepared Lily's lunch, and bid farewell to Amber, my lips lightly grazing her cheek in a moment that felt like the deepest treachery. She smiled, a tense, fragile smile. "See you Monday," she said, her voice quivering slightly. "I love you. Have a good trip," I responded, my tone devoid of warmth, lacking any hint of feeling. I observed from the window as she departed, her vehicle fading from view as it rounded the bend. Then, I reached for the phone and dialed Wyatt's wife, a woman I hardly knew. "Text, I believe it's important for you to witness this," I stated, my tone calm and unwavering. "Feel free to drop by whenever you're prepared." 2 hours later, Wyatt's wife, a small woman with eyes reflecting my own sorrow, sat on my couch, holding the printed messages tightly. Her complexion was pale, her form quaking. We lingered in quietude, bound together by our mutual suffering, two victims of Amber and Wyatt's thoughtless decisions. On Sunday evening, a message from Amber came through. "We need to have a conversation. This is not up for debate." She returned home, her complexion wan and strained. She froze in the doorway, her eyes growing wide as she took in the sight of Wyatt's wife perched on our sofa, with Lily playing quietly at her feet. Then, her eyes landed on the open suitcase, the damning printouts cascading onto the floor. Her complexion paled dramatically. She swayed, her hand darting to her mouth, and crumpled to the floor. The ensuing clash was fierce, a whirlwind of sorrow, blame, and bitter exchanges. Wyatt's wife, taken aback and devastated at first, discovered an unyielding determination. She departed with their 2 small children, and I could distinctly hear the voicemail she left for Wyatt from my position. It was brief, incisive, and conclusive. Amber, laid bare of her fabrications and treachery, found herself without a defense. She wept, pleading for absolution, yet her words seemed empty, devoid of significance. The harm had been inflicted, the faith was broken, our shared existence, the future I believed we were creating, lay in tatters before us. Lily, fortunately, remained asleep throughout the whole experience. The following morning, I gazed at her serene sleeping face, her features strikingly reminiscent of Amber's. A tide of sorrow enveloped me, a deep mourning for what we once cherished. Yet, hidden within the sorrow, a spark of determination started to ignite. I would safeguard Lily, I would reconstruct my existence, piece by arduous piece. I have initiated the process of divorce. Amber departed, a mere shadow of who she once was. Wyatt, forsaken by his wife and shunned by his peers, departed the city, his reputation in ruins. The ensuing months proved to be challenging. A haze of courtroom battles, restless nights, and the persistent pang of grief. Yet, with time and effort, I started to mend. I concentrated on Lily, on fulfilling the role of the father she required. I embarked on a journey of self-discovery, facing the hurt, the rage, the sense of betrayal. I embarked on a journey to reconstruct my existence, placing emphasis on my professional aspirations, my friendships, and my family bonds. Years have passed, and I find myself transformed from the person I once was. The once naive and trusting husband has vanished, giving way to a tougher, more guarded individual, yet one who possesses greater resilience. The scars linger, a testament to the suffering I faced, yet they no longer shape my identity. I have come to understand the importance of forgiveness, not for Amber or Wyatt, but for my own peace of mind. Forgiveness wasn't about excusing their behavior. It was about letting go of the anger and resentment that was tainting my spirit. It was about finally releasing the past and welcoming the future. A future that I have the power to shape. A future brimming with hope and the steadfast love of my daughter. The sorrow may persist, a subtle throb within my soul, yet it no longer binds me.